all during the year coming up to the Warhorn, I mean, to Strawberry. You are. Let me hold her. I got too many horns here. But anyways, I gotten to know Forgan and Drummond and Bladewin and Roderick quite well. And I had this project going, which was Storm Brew. Okay. I wanted a thank you for all the kindnesses that the Dark Court had bestowed upon my husband and myself. So we searched long and hard. It took about 6 months to find this one. And in the meantime, he became more and more real. Almost, I mean, we dreamt of him, and it was just weird. But I explained to Forgan, you know, back then, you know what you guys were? You weren't Romans. You were mercenaries. So, dirty word. No, not really. I needed some mercenaries. I needed somebody to help me with the project. So I asked Forgan if he'd be willing to be hired out. And he said, oh my goodness, somebody's actually hiring us. And I said, yes, and I will pay you. I will pay you. And yes, Storm Brew, we got to Pennsic, and we're still putting them together. And Fiona here was Khan of the Dark Horde at that time. And her duties had become very great. She needed a nap. So she wanders into my tent. What did I do as Storm Brew? I quick shoved him underneath my pillow. But she proceeded to lay down with her head on top of Storm Brew. He didn't have the antler on it yet. So she took an afternoon nap on the Storm Brew. And in the meantime, I had Darkyard delivering these missives to the Dark Horde with all these puzzles. And the major one was, he who is of the Dark Horde, yet has never met the Dark Horde, will make his presence known at Concord. That's kind of mysterious. So when it came to Concord, by the way, Darkyard bought their first, what's the big long sword? The great sword for this project. We and the Detroit Khanate march through the camp with Roderick dressed up to the eyes, you can't see, in a big cape. So everybody thinks that Roderick is he who is of the Dark Horde, yet has never met the Horde, making his presence known at Concord. We got met at the front gate by Svea Wartooth. And he said, you cannot go before the Khan in court, so armed. And I said, why, sure we can. And he said, no, you cannot. You cannot pass these gates. And I said, yes, I can. And he said, no, you must tell your warriors to divest themselves of their sword. They had short swords, but the big one was really kind of cool and neat. And I said, no, I can't. And I took him to one side and I said, Svea, you have let my husband and I sleep in your tent, your spare tent, when we needed it. I said, you know Fiona and I are great friends. You have to trust me. You have to let me go before the Khan. And he said, no, I won't. You cannot do so. All non-horde have to leave their weapons at the gate. And I said, to do so would be an insult to the Khan. It's a catch-22 that I knew about. And he said, he got this surprised look on his face. And he said, okay, but you're going to have real horse lances at your kidneys. And I said, and Forgan stepped in and he says, don't tell the boys. So anyways, we step into Khan's court, everybody leans forward like this. And the Khanate and Darkyard, The Khanate formed 2 half circles against their brothers. And Darkyard and my husband, marched right down to the center of the court. Great sword up in the air, swords at their sides, every knife they could find. I think there were a couple kitchen knives. I mean, we're talking 7 guys here. And we proceeded to tell the story of Storm Brew and how through our many travels, he had made his presence known to us. And that he asked to meet the Horde even though he was of the beginning of the Horde. And if you see Storm Brew, he has 2 dragons to symbolize the mid-realm. He has the Great Dark Horde, symbol at the end of the antler. He has a blade, as any good Dark Horde person would have. And then he has the one dragon is breathing life into the yin-yang. The other dragon is throwing a lightning bolt, which is part of their symbol. And then in the middle it's got Pennsic. It's got the dragon and the tiger, but they're not mad at each other like the 2 heraldic ones would. They're playing with each other. And so anyways, we told them about finding Roderick, and that we were now going to present him. And Roderick moves forward to Fiona, throws back his face covering, and everybody's going, who is this guy? And then throws back his cape and presents Storm Brew to the Great Khan. She cried. We stood there kind of going, well, she cried for 10 minutes. And then we turned around and left the court. And as we did, Sid and Thea and a couple of the guys kept saying, you guys are guys. But when we turned around, it was so weird. The guys had these horse lances at their tummies. And Morgan just very calmly went like this, and went like this, and parted the horse lances, and we walked through them. And your first drinking horn that sadly was lost to you was payment for that project. You want to hear the war horn story?